Chapter 5. Working Things Out. Sorry, company policy. Parker was on his case again. The Spanish guys on the line, he wasn't sure where they all came from. They just all spoke Spanish and hardly any English, and they always seemed to get more done than Jamal. While he was tripping up 3 big cuts, they would do 4. Jamal took 15-minute breaks every 2 hours, like the company said you could. The Hispanics, they worked right on through to lunch or the end of the shift. And Parker, always on his back, found special jobs for Jamal since he was so bad at cutting and trimming. That's how Jamal got assigned to do cleanup, clearing the work areas and scraping stuff up off the floor. He hauled buckets of leavings around and dumped them for processing into pet food or worse. And he got completely soaked with bleach water while sanitizing work tables and processing equipment. And it seemed like wherever he was, Arvin Parker was right behind him saying, "You missed this," and "It'd be more efficient if you did it this way," and finding more work for him to do the instant he finished something up. Jamal was being systematic about his job search. He only applied to places he could get to without a car. He was being realistic about his qualifications. He wasn't a computer programmer. He was looking for warehouse work, labor jobs, maintenance, cleanup and push broom jobs. It was all stuff he knew he could do. Some places he applied in person. For others, he applied online. Some places you went in to apply and they sat you down at a computer and you applied online. The people he met seemed nice, and some, he could tell right away he could get along with them. Every time he finished up a new application, he was feeling almost hopeful. Except for that one thing, that question: have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yes? No? If you answered yes, please explain. Every application had that question or something an awful lot like that question. He started out saying yes, and then wrote out his explanation. "I was young and just finished high school, and I didn't have a job," he would write. "Someone I knew offered me some work. I made a terrible mistake. The work was not legal, and I was arrested. I have been working very hard to make up for my mistake. Please give a young man who's made a mistake an opportunity to do better." Mostly, he never heard anything back. Once in a while, he'd get a letter from a place saying they had filled the position he had applied for, but they would keep his resume on file. Jamal had looked it up online, where the job applications could ask you about your criminal background. The information he found was confusing. Some states said you could ask. Some said you couldn't. Federal law seemed to suggest you should not ask the question about felonies because so many African American men had convictions it would be racial discrimination. Sure, it seemed like companies were not supposed to ask about convictions, but a lot of them did anyway. Jamal decided to stop answering the question. Just ignore it. It didn't make any difference. Finally, he started checking no. No convictions. He got a job interview for a warehouse. It went really well. They made a job offer, and he accepted. He'd be starting in 2 weeks. 2 days after the interview, he got another phone call on his sister's answering machine. There was a problem. Jamal called and talked to the woman in human resources he had met. She said the company had checked his credit report, part of their standard procedures for hiring new people, and there were some problems. It wasn't clear where he had been living for the last year or so. Jamal tried to explain. He'd been young. He got in some trouble. And, well, he'd been incarcerated. The woman on the phone was nice enough, but just said he had misrepresented himself in his application. "That wouldn't be a good way to start an employment relationship," she said. And she said the company wouldn't be able to offer him a job after all. Meanwhile, Arvin Parker had Jamal coming in early to do more disinfecting work. Then, he'd keep him late to take care of cleanup work during the shift change. It was good in a way because he was getting overtime pay, putting a little extra money away. But Jamal felt that he could never satisfy Parker, who was always looking to find fault. Jamal just knew he had to get out of that place. A different kind of work. The Big AME Church on High Street was looking for a janitor. The job was posted on the Workforce Development Bulletin Board. Jamal had learned how to keep track of the listings and try to pounce on anything that looked possible as soon as it appeared. But this listing was 3 days old. The notice said, apply in person. Jamal printed out a copy of his resume, logged off the library computer, went to the reference desk to pay for the printing, and hurried off toward the church. This was a well-worn path for him. It would take 20 minutes. He would be there before 5 and get the application in today. Except the church office wasn't open. Jamal stayed a few minutes hoping someone would show up. He thought about slipping his resume under the door or leaving it in the mailbox, and figured that would just be a waste. But he left it in the mailbox anyway. He walked back up the path along the side of the church, the high street. As he stepped on the sidewalk, he nearly ran into Doughboy. The big man reacted, flinched, and turned, then recognized Jamal.
"Ah, it's you, Jamal, my man."
Now he sounded all friendly-like.
"Haven't seen you in weeks. Where you been hiding?"
"Just working," Jamal said. "Working hard. No time to be running around."
"What kind of work?"
Doughboy asked. "Crummy work," Jamal replied honestly, thinking about Parker and his demands. "Down at the packing plant."
"Oh," Doughboy said. "Now I've heard stories about that place. Cold all the time, damn near freezing. Wet and nasty. A lot of guys get cuts. You been cut up at all?"
Jamal clenched his hands and ran his thumbs over his fingers. He thought he could still feel the chill in them from his work today. "Nah," Jamal said, answering Doughboy's question. "When I do cutting work, I've got safety gloves. Knife can't cut through them, even if you try. I'm doing more maintenance work now, not so much cutting."
That sounds better. Good pay?"
Doughboy said. "Bottom dollar, minimum wage, you know," Jamal said. "Getting some overtime now and then. That helps."
"Now, since you been out and about, you hear about Pink?"
"Ain't heard nothing," Jamal said.
"That little incident in the Q-Mart. Things didn't go very well for him."
"How bad?" Jamal asked.
"Maybe 5 to 10, Doughboy said. "Only good thing about that whole mess was he didn't actually shoot anybody. He's only got to deal with possession and attempted robbery and the weapons charges. Bad, but it could have been worse."
5 to 10, Jamal said. He was seeing the inside of the prison again. 5 to 10. Damn!
"Come with me,"
Doughboy said as he walked up the block toward his usual outpost. Jamal went with him. Couldn't do any harm, he thought.
"You know, I got another fella coming on soon. Getting out next week, actually. Gonna take Pink's place out here," Doughboy said. "But I do have another opening."
Doughboy turned the conversation to the weather, football, and spent a minute admiring 2 attractive women who walked by going the other way. Then Doughboy stopped. They were standing next to a car parked in just about in the same place Jamal had been when he was busted. But this wasn't just any car. This was a brand new Mercedes. Not the usual black, no. This machine was a deep, deep burgundy red. Rich brown leather inside.
"Oh,"
Doughboy said, acting like he had just noticed the vehicle.
Nice set of wheels."
Jamal walked up to the car and admired it. "Damn," Jamal said.
"Say, how about you give it a test drive?"
Doughboy said. He pulled out a key fob, chirped open the doors, and tossed the key to Jamal.
"Hop in."
Jamal was sitting in the driver's seat, just feeling the touch of the leather on the steering wheel and shift lever. He touched the start button. The instrument panel came to life. He couldn't hear the engine, just felt it idling through the steering wheel. "Damn," Jamal said. Doughboy slid into the passenger seat next to Jamal.
"Let's take a little ride," Doughboy said. "Let you get the feel of the machine you'll be driving. Like I said, I got this other job opening. Need a driver to take care of my new set of wheels here. Little chauffeur work, and you take care of maintenance and do some detailing. Keep everything just so. Might have to make an occasional pickup or delivery," Doughboy continued. "All very respectable high-class stuff, though. Ain't sending this baby into any run-down neighborhoods."
Jamal looked at 2 boarded-up storefronts and the huge vacant lot across the street and smiled just a little.
Doughboy kept on talking. I'll make sure you get your time off. Even work out some vacation time. Benefit plan is a little skimpy, he admitted. No health insurance or nothing, but you'll be earning about 10 times what you make as a meat cutter, so you'll be able to afford whatever you need.
Jamal smiled. His hand was on the shift lever. He dropped it into drive, but he still had his foot on the brake. Jamal didn't say anything. He was thinking and thinking and thinking. Damn, he said suddenly and slipped the shift lever back into park. No license, he said, turning toward Doughboy. I completely forgot. Since I was incarcerated, there were these tickets and stuff. I got some fines I got to get cleared up, and, well, with all that stuff, my license is suspended and expired, and, well, you see, I can't take no driving job.
What? Doughboy said. You giving a damn about a license? Had the guys do any driving around here for me ain't got no license. Since when?
Don't want to chance it, Jamal said, cutting him off. Still got a bunch of stuff to work through, he said as he opened the door and got out of the car. And I'll tell you, man, I'm really disappointed. This car is beautiful and I would love to be driving it. But you know, one little slip up and with my troubles, well, you know that would cause issues for you and you don't need any problems like that. Jamal was talking fast and looking for a way to end the conversation. Damn, Jamal said. What time is it?
Close to 6, Doughboy said. You right. Come on, let's go grab a bite.
I missed my appointment, Jamal said. Damn, and they'll be waiting for me. Gotta go, he said and started off at a run toward the corner. He spotted a break in the traffic and sprinted across the street, then slowed to a jog as he went up Pine Street, heading in the general direction of Pacific Avenue. He didn't know where he was going at the moment. He was just getting away.